Our first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for calling the CPS instead of helping my husband with his baby? My life is crap right now. Here goes. My 25 female, husband 28 male, had an affair, knocked up the girl, and now has a 1-year-old. The baby, Hallie, is approximately 1 year old. This was a huge shock to me, and I only found out when he brought the baby home because the child's mom died and the social workers contacted him. He told me that it was a mistake and he hadn't taken an active part in Hallie's life except for paying support. He wanted to shield me from the truth. He told me that he couldn't abandon Hallie given that she just lost her mom. We have always wanted to adopt a baby instead of trying to have a biological baby, and he tried to convince me that we could do that with Hallie. I told him to go to hell. I told him that I'm going to divorce him. But the problem is that we are in a bit of a spot, and neither of us can afford to move or file for divorce right now. So, I am now stuck with my to-be ex-husband and his affair baby in my home for the next few months. Yay me! He is convinced that I will forgive him and learn to love Hallie, despite me refusing to numerous times. He has now taken to leaving the baby alone at home in order to make me bond with Hallie. I went with it the first few times because Hallie would need to be fed/soothed/changed. However, it happened again recently and I called the cops instead of taking care of Hallie, and now CPS is looking into Hallie's situation. My to-be ex-husband is absolutely furious and yelled at me for refusing to act like a human being. I told him that it's his baby and his responsibility. The next time he leaves the baby alone without informing me, I would leave the house immediately and then call CPS. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take care of a baby? Now let's jump to the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your soon-to-be ex is trying to manipulate you, and you are refusing to allow it. Good for you. He is trying to force you into a situation you have clearly stated you do not want to be part of. If he really believed you would change your mind, he would be patient and let that happen, not try to force it. He needs to put his baby first, and not use her as a tool to try to control other people. He put himself into his current position, and now needs to deal with the consequences. You have ensured his child is safe when he leaves her alone with you, without informing you, if I read that correctly. He has put her in danger just by doing that. I hope he starts to prioritize the baby, and ensure he is giving her the love she needs, rather than using her as a tool for emotional manipulation of others. Best of luck to you. I'd bet a quarter. The soon-to-be ex isn't leaving the baby so a bond can be established, but leaving her because he needs a break, and is stressful trying to make time for his other side chicks. Baby number 2 isn't just going to make itself. I'm just glad Opie isn't one of the dopey ones who takes him back and pretends nothing happened. Not the a-hole. But your life is going to get even harder. Can you look for even a room to move into? Maybe by the end of October. Do me a favor. Pack a go bag. Right now, get all important papers and belongings out of the house and somewhere he cannot access. Consider a solid lock on your bedroom door. Be out of the house as much as possible. Hell, get a second job. He sounds controlling and manipulative and angry, and now you have messed with his grand plan. I agree with your actions, but to him, you are denying him his family and control over you. It's very hard to know how he will react, even if he's never been violent before. I work full-time, but it's work from home now. I have already left all important documents with a friend of mine. We bought the house together, which is why moving out is trickier right now. That's the end of the first story. The next one is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that I absolutely do not support her only wanting to be a stay-at-home mom? I don't have a problem with the idea of parents who stay at home with their kids. It's not like that. I get that childcare is expensive and that oftentimes it just makes sense. What I have a problem with is my teenage daughter literally planning her life to only become a stay-at-home mom. As in, no college, no jobs, no certifications, nothing at all to support herself until the time might come. I told her that it doesn't have to be college, that not everyone needs college, but that she needs to do something to start making money to put away so that, if anything goes wrong with her plan, she has a way to support herself and the potential kids. Her feedback was that her backup plan was me and my husband. She would move in with us and go from there. We would help them survive. I told her then, what happens if we die, or we are incapacitated? She said, I don't know, Mom. This is ridiculous. None of it is going to happen. I told her bluntly that I don't want her becoming Nancy Botwin 2.0, that if something happens, she needs to have a backup plan and something behind her other than relying on other people. I emphasize that again, it does not need to be college. She can start working retail to learn customer service skills that she can carry on to doing call center work from home if need be. She can start working as a receptionist somewhere. She can do any number of things. But she says no, she's going to plan to be a stay-at-home mom. With that all in mind, I asked her, when she graduates high school, what is she going to do? She said, just try to find a husband. Maybe marry someone in military. I asked her again, in between that time, how is she going to pay her bills, her rent? She said she assumed she would be living at home. I told her no, and that she would be moving out. She could live at home if she gets a job or tries to get some kind of community college degree or certification. But that if she insists on being a deadbeat loser and waiting for a man to come and rescue her, she's on her own. This didn't go over well. I am now being held up as totally unreasonable, mean, a huge witch, etc. I don't think I'm wrong at all. I want to set her up for a lifetime of success and happiness. If this wonderful man who comes and whisks her away, knocks her up, etc., gets injured or dies, I don't want to have her come knocking at our door because she can't afford to take care of herself. Am I the a-hole? Now let's read the top comments of this post. Not the a-hole. Her expectations for life are unrealistic. You're doing your part as a parent and showing her that. Her entitlement is astounding. Correct. And aside from military, I can't imagine most 18-year-old men are going to be able to or willing to support her. Maybe sell her on the idea of college to get her MRS. Alternately to the MRS, she might be willing to get the certifications for working at a daycare. If she really only wants to be a stay-at-home mom, she could practice taking care of children, have an income, and a fallback if her life plan doesn't work out, all while doing what she loves. If that doesn't work out, maybe she'll realize she wants something else for herself, and if it does work out, she's got some money and experience. Not the a-hole. Not only that, she seems to fail to realize that even many men who would be willing to have their wife be a stay-at-home mom don't necessarily want someone without ambition or education. Many of the quality men that would be good husbands and happy with a stay-at-home mom wife want someone they can have an intelligent conversation with, someone who can accompany them to social occasions and make them look good in front of their peers, colleagues, and boss. Someone who will be an actual partner and participate in the family planning and decisions with actual, educated input. She is setting herself up to be either a trophy wife seen as a bimbo, hopefully she's good looking enough for that, or someone who will only attract as potential husbands abusive a-holes who will see her as a perfect target. Someone without skills or a specialized education who will be 100% dependent on them emotionally and financially without the ability to get away by her own design. Not the a-hole. In high school, I also wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and fortunately, that's not where my life took me. I'm 33, single, and childless. Sometimes our plans don't work out, and that's okay. She really needs to make a plan to be able to take care of herself regardless of becoming a stay-at-home mom. Agreed, I'm 33 and I just became a mom. If you had asked me when I was 18, I would have guessed I would have become a mother sooner. Being a stay-at-home mom is a blessing, but it's something you potentially plan for once the baby is on the way, in my opinion. I got my degree, worked multiple jobs throughout my 20s, opened a business, etc. It's unrealistic to just wait until stay-at-home mom status presents itself. Plus, I feel like she'd be hard-pressed to find a guy that supports her desire throughout the, I assume, years of dating/marriage that typically takes place before a baby enters the picture. And for the last story, would I be the a-hole for letting my sons change their surnames to mine from their fathers? I, 27 female, had 2 sons with my ex-husband. When I left him, he said he wanted as little involvement as possible. So, he requested no custody and has said if/when I remarry, he'll willingly allow my future husband to adopt the boys. We have, however, stayed in contact with his family because they were close with them, and we intend to maintain that connection permanently. Both my kids and myself have their father's surname, Williams. I kept his surname because my kids share it. However, I have recently had talks with my ex, plus Nan and Granddad Williams, which have led me to no longer want this surname, so I plan to change it to my maiden name, O'Reilly. I told my parents what my plans were, and they were ecstatic, and the next time I called them, Dad said, "Hello, my name, O'Reilly." My kids, who are 8 and 10, heard and asked why he called me that. And I hadn't had that talk with them yet, so I explained, but reassured them that this does not make us any less connected, and they were fine with it. That talk was about 2 months ago, and I plan to change it next week. About a week ago, the boys said that they want to change their names too, and be O'Reillys, saying that they preferred it to Williams and they felt more connected with their Irish heritage than their English, because I was able to teach them about their Irish heritage. I'm heavily paraphrasing here. I said they were a little young and they should really think this over, because they're still in touch with the Williams family and should probably maintain that link. Nan and Granddad Williams picked them up from school earlier. At some point, the boys told them that they're thinking of changing their names and why. Nan and Granddad Williams feel that this is cruel and that I'm trying to pull the boys away from their side of the family. They called my ex, who has also said that I'm being unfair as he helped raise the boys until they were 3 and 5 and is paying child support, so he feels that a name change should never have been an option for them. The 3 of them want me to convince the boys to stay as Williams and said that I'm being unfair/harsh/downright mean to let them even think about it, and I need to make sure the boys give their surname and that at 8 and 10, they're too young to make this choice. I've said that I'm giving them time to think about it, and if they want to change it, then I'll let them. I've checked and I'm legally allowed to do this. However, I feel really bad about it, and legal doesn't always mean morally correct, so I need an outside perspective. Now for the top comments. He requested no custody and has said if/when I remarry, he'll willingly allow my future husband to adopt the boys. He's willing to let them be adopted, and he doesn't want custody, but they can choose their mom's name over their father's name? Yeah, good luck with that, non-father. Not the a-hole OP. I'm guessing his parents are on his butt about it, and the only reason he cares is to get them off his back. So, a father who wanted no contact feels that because he sired kids and writes a child support check, the kids should have his brand? You're not the a-hole, but he definitely is. Make sure that child support is ordered by the courts before you do the deed poll for the kids. He'll try to withhold it if the courts aren't involved. Possibly, it's the grandparents who really care, not him, but if he says something to her, then they are off his back. Not the a-hole. If he wanted to be a father, he should have been a dad. Not the a-hole. I understand how your ex's parents must feel, given that they are close to your kids. I imagine they're already worried about losing the connection to your boys, and this probably feels like one tangible step to that happening, even though it isn't. That said, your ex has made clear that he's nothing but a sperm donor to these boys. He doesn't get naming credits for paying child support, something he is legally obligated to do. He's fine with your hypothetical new husband adopting the boys, but not with them changing their last name to match that of their only actual parent? Nope, he can't get right on out of here with that mess. I imagine they're already worried about losing the connection to your boys. I think you've hit the nail on the head. They realize that their son has no interest in these kids, and some guy in the future adopting them was just a hypothetical situation they probably thought they'd never have to deal with. But their mother actively changing her name and the kids following suit makes them feel like they are being pushed out. I think the only a-hole here is the guy who fathered kids and created this mess. The OP is right to change her name and allow her kids to follow suit if that's what works for them. The grandparents are allowed to feel like they are losing a connection, but they would become a-holes if they pressure OP or the kids to keep a name they don't want. And that's the end of the video, guys. Share us your thoughts down in the comment section. If you like this content, hit like and subscribe for more videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.